Okay, today I want to talk about Transcendental Meditation and my experience with it. This is something I've been doing for a while now. It's something that's completely changed my life. If you don't know what TM is, I'll give you the basic idea. Transcendental meditation is an ancient Vedic form of meditation coming from India, the Vedas. And the only reason I'm talking to you today is because of one man. This, of course, is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He is the man responsible for bringing TM to the West. Today, there's teachers of TM all over the world. I was lucky enough to be taught by a direct student of the Maharishi himself, so it's pretty cool. We live in a good time where we can still have access to knowledge without it being diluted. TM is a mantra meditation, meaning you're given a mantra, which is a word, but really it's more of a sound, vibration, thought. You use the mantra as a vehicle to go in this cycle. It's basically a cycle of diving into your subconscious. Just because it's a mantra meditation doesn't mean all you need is the mantra. A lot of people think if you find the mantra on the internet, you'll be set. It's not the case. You need special instructions. You won't really know what to do with it. And there's lots of roadblocks and mental blocks that could prevent you from doing the technique properly. You learn TM over the course of a couple days, and this helps you work out any kinks and strange things that pop up. It's very often that people forget their mantra, even though it's like the one thing you have to remember. I even forgot it the first day, but it's more of just this doubt, and you have to learn to get over that. And usually people don't actually forget, they just think they forgot. And yes, you have to pay, like all things of value, it costs money, but usually you can attend follow-up meetings or checkups indefinitely, forever, for free. So how does it work? I'm not really going to get into the details, but basically the vibration of the mantra triggers certain things within your body, and it causes a great state of relaxation. And what comes out of it is this cycle, thinking the mantra until you have a thought. And usually a thought is a distraction because all you're intending to do is think the mantra. When you think a thought, that is evidence of something being undone in your subconscious, something in your physiology, a stress. A thought is the evidence of stress leaving your body. So it's the cycle of mantra, thought, realizing you're thinking a thought and not the mantra, and going back to the mantra. But really, it gets a lot more complicated than that. That's a very simplified answer for you. But essentially, through this technique, you're triggering the release of stresses in your body, and these come out in thoughts, and these thoughts indicate the stress that's being released. So when you first start, you might have kind of big thoughts, things that are kind of obviously wrong with your life, like certain traumatic events, they'll come up. And in this process, they're released. And this is literal stresses in your nervous system that are leaving your body. So of course, it's a relaxing experience and it feels really great. It has very particular impacts on your brain. It's actually more restful than sleep, so you might as well get up earlier to do the technique. You meditate twice a day for 20 minutes each session, one in the morning, one in the evening. So I learned TM over 2.5 years ago. I was 17, and it was my Christmas present. Since then, things in my life have changed tremendously. There's a lot of things you start to realize. So the first thing that I thought of, violence, and I just started to become not interested in violence anymore. It's not like I was interested in violence, but sometimes, you would think violent thoughts, you would think kind of hateful thoughts, you would think people that you disagree with, you would want to hurt them sometimes, in extreme circumstances, but it's normal. And I definitely fantasize about hurting people sometimes. I grew up doing martial arts. I was kind of wanting the chance to defend myself, to use what I had learned. But that's just not something that I can really relate to anymore. You realize it comes back to you. Hurting someone else is really hurting yourself. It's equal and opposite. You kind of just realize that violence is disorder and kind of ignorant. The next thing I realized was I had to change my diet. I realized that a lot of things didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to be consuming meat. So I've been plant-based since I learned TM. The third thing is I started seeing more clearly. I guess this means I started losing interest in certain things, what I'd call like low-level behaviors. Like I used to have desires to like do drugs or drink alcohol. Not like I really wanted to do it, but I thought it was a good thing to do. I thought it was cool, but now it's just, there's so many downsides and there's no reason to do it. The reasons to do it just don't really matter. And I'm more concerned with doing what I know is true than what is cool, I guess. So when you start seeing more clearly, you lose interest in certain things, in certain behaviors, and maybe even certain people. Certain things you just don't really relate to anymore. You don't want to relate to them. So this led to changes in my friends. I kind of had to step back from a lot of what's going on in the culture and really take time to think about who I am and what I want to do and what this life really is. The next thing is increased empathy. You may have heard ideas relating to the idea of one. Everyone is one, and you may not understand that immediately. But I swear, when you do TM, you will understand the idea of one. Everything is one, everything is energy, vibration, everything's made of the one substance. So going back to violence, how could I hurt another person when that person is me? And we all know trauma, maybe trauma from doing something horrible to someone else, is common. And you think, why is that? It's not because of what they did to someone else, it's because of what they did to themselves. Because we are everything. Increased patience and focus. When you're spending this much time meditating, you definitely grow in patience because it takes 20 minutes and sometimes you're really into it and the time flies by. Sometimes it doesn't. Either way, you're meditating for a fixed period of time, and that builds patience with your routines. Increased focus for sure. When you realize kind of what's more important, it's easier to stay focused. When you're less distracted, when you're less outwardly seeking, of course you'll be more focused in what you want to do. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about is intuition. A lot of people talk about moments of precognition, and that's predicting things and knowing things will happen before they happen. This has happened a lot to me in very strange ways, and lots of other people talk about it as well. Essentially, you can predict certain things. Your intuition, your gut feelings all grow. You learn to trust yourself way more. And just you have a general sense of knowing what to do and what is correct and what is not correct. And really, you grow in discernment. You also tend to know what the truth is and what the truth looks like when it's said. I'm not sure if this is just related to TM, but I think this is just a bigger thing related to expanding your consciousness, which TM certainly does. Ultimately, when you're on these higher vibrational kind of planes, you're alone in a lot of cases. You're alone in certain societies and you have advantages. You realize you can't really go to people to ask for help because they don't really know. And really you have to rely on your own counsel to answer your own questions. Certain things pop up in society and that we know are wrong. When you know these fundamental truths, certain things in society don't make sense anymore. So that's kind of something that you realize, and you have to change your life to fit it. If you want to live, say, morally or righteously, if these things are important to you, they become important to you. And really you realize all you need is within you. So I've had to step back and really observe what is going on and think to myself what I need to do and what I should be. And TM has really been a vehicle for me to go into other spiritual areas and find truth, because there's so much beyond rational and there is so much more. There's so much more that is human. We are not just waiting for the singularity. There are things we have that no machines will ever have. We really are a high form of creation, and we should treat ourselves so. So really, I think TM is a great way to open the door to higher vibrational states, raising your vibration, increasing your quality of life, feeling better. It's been so good. So if you're trying to increase your knowledge, your spiritual knowledge, your intuitive powers, you can certainly do so in TM. It's a great technique, and it has implications that are even wider than what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of crazy things with TM that could occur on a mass scale to really change the world. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I will in a later video. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.